Hey, welcome back to another video from Let Me Tech You. And today I'm going to talk about static routes and how to configure them. Now, in networking, you may come across, there may be a time where you will need some, static routes configured. Just maybe override a route or set something up simple that you need to do to get to another part of your network. So what I'm going to do here is just show some different types of static routes and basically how to configure them. In this situation, all these may not be best practice, but are just going to just show you ways of how to set up those different types of static routes on your routers. So I'm going to be using my topology here, which is basically two routers separated by three networks here. So we got 10.0, 10.0.1, and 10.0.2/24. So basically on these routers here, I'm going to need to set up routes to be able to let this one side talk to the other side and vice versa. And doing that, there's three ways you can configure that. So you got what are called directly attached static routes, recursive static routes, and fully specified static routes. Now how these routes differentiate is just based off of how it looks up the next hop path to the destination network. So again, this is just another lab off our blog. My blog, Let Me Tech You. So I'm just going to go ahead and walk through this configuration. So I already have all this set up, but basically this first part all here, you can. It's basically going to take you through how to set up each of these routes and then look at them and see how they're being connected, and then if you can get to the other side there. So I'm going to go ahead and power these up here. Now once these come up here, give it some time. Let's see, so let me just start them one by one. This one's not wanting to come up. Try to refresh this here. Fresh, see, so those aren't wanting to come up here. There we go. All right, there we go. I just had some lag in the system there. So these are coming up. So I'm using EVENG, which is free emulation software for basically anyone that wants to learn networking. Highly recommend it. A lot of people use GNS3. I like this one. It's real simple. I'm hosting it on my bare metal VMware server. So you do need the images for the type of nodes you are going to be using. So let me see where these are at. So it's HTML based. So now I'm just going to go ahead and open up my router. So now I think as I was doing this lab, I was just going over the current configuration. So I'm just going to go ahead and start from the top here. So this first one's called a directly attached static route. So basically this is a route that only uses the outbound next hop interface. So as you can see here, all this up here is already just configuring the interface and then just bringing them up. But basically now I'm saying IP route. So it's basically where you want to go and then how you're going to get there. So I'm saying from R1, I want to route to 10.0.2.0 off of using gigabit Ethernet 0.0. So if I look in here, so if I do enable, I'm just going to do a show run. So as you can see here, I have IP route 10.0.2.0 using the outside interface. So do a show IP route. It's not shown, so maybe make sure the interface is up. So show the interface brief. Okay, so the interface is down. So that's the thing with this particular way. If you're using the outside interface, you need to make sure that this interface is up. So that's why you don't see that route inside the routing table. So I'm going to do, we actually want to bring both of those up. Interface. range gigabit 0/0 to 1. So now we should see those up. Do a show IP interface brief again. Those are showing up, and if I do a show IP route, now we have our routes in there. So going to here, see we have a static route directly connected, going out gigabit Ethernet 0/0. So if I was to go to this interface, or this PC, I'm not sure, let's see if it has an IP, so show IP. It doesn't, so let me add an IP address to this real quick. IP, okay, IP 10 dot, I don't think I just saved that, 10.0.0. So we're gonna do 10.0.0.5. Actually, what did I have in the, yeah, we'll do 10.0.0.5. Then we're gonna put our /24. And then our gateway is 10.0.0.1. There we go. Then I need to add on this side, I'm gonna make this one 10.0.2.5. So IP 10.0.2.5/24 10.0.2.1. So now I'm going to go ahead and try to ping that. So ping 10.0.2.5. Okay, so you know what? Bet you if we look and see on this side, something might not be working or configured correctly. So it looks like we lost configuration on this one, so I'll actually go through and set that up real quick. So basically, all I need to do is from my 10.0.0.2, so that's 1.1, we'll make this 1.2. So hostname R2, and then IP interface gigabit 0/0, IP address 10.0.0. Actually, I think that's 10.0.1.2. 255. Just gonna bring that up, and then gigabit Ethernet 0/1. IP address 10.0.2.1. So shut on that. And then if we do a show, let's just make sure everything's correct. Show IP interface brief. So got our interfaces, they're up. Show IP route. So we have, okay, so now we don't have 10.0.0 in the routing table. So what we need to do is do a static route on this side too. So IP route 10.0.0.0 255.255.255.0, and then gigabit Ethernet 0/0 as well. So now we got a static route going out gigabit Ethernet 0.0's interface. So if we do a ping now from VPC3, we should get connectivity. There we go. So that's one way of doing a static route. So that's a recursive route. So um, or I mean, a directly attached static route. So basically, it's just using a directly attached interface there. So the different type of another route is what's called a recursive route. Now this it uses the routing information base to locate the route to the next hop address. So basically, as you can see here, it's saying IP route 10.0.2.0 using 10.0.1.2. So we're saying route where we want to go. So IP route, we want to go here using this interface. So it knows to send it to that interface. Now, that's essentially the same configuration. So now if I come here, let's do this on router 1. So I'm going to actually take this route out. And that's just a no IP route 10.0.2.0 KB 0/0. So that takes that out. So if I do a show IP route, that route's gone. And then from here, I can't ping anymore. Host unreachable. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do IP route. Just take this no out. And then we want to go to the outside interface of, so we're saying we want to use this interface to route to this network. So it's going to go 10.0.2.1. And let's see. Let's try to. I got a typo there somewhere. So it's IP route. This is router 1. 10.0.2.1. Some reason that's not showing in there. Let's look at here what's going on. So router 2, 10. Basically, the other route must exist in that routing table, which it doesn't. So let me look and see something here. Sorry for the short pause. Had to attend to the kids there for a sec. So now looking back at our issue, so we were trying to do let's bring that back up here. We were trying to do a recursive static route. So basically we're trying to use the next hop's IP address. And let's see what's going on. So we open up router 1 here. So we're gonna start router 1 up and look and see what's going on. And not showing the route, so let's look at our command here and see what we may have mistyped. Show run. Oh, okay, so we have the outside interface wrong there, so let's go ahead and fix that. And what we want to do is actually make this 1.2. And then that should add it to the routing table. And now you see it there at the bottom. So we should be able to then go to VPC3 again and ping 10.2.5, which we wasn't able to before. So that's one way of adding recursive route where it actually looks, it uses the basically that route needs to be in the routing table for it to be able to understand where that next hop address is. So for us to be able to get to 10.0.1.2, we need to have 10.0.1 in our routing basically table. And then the other way here is to basically do what's called a fully specified static route. Now this is called, so this uses both the interface and the next hop address. So this basically just removes the recursive lookup that happens when you do like a recursive static route where you're only using the 10.0.1.2. So you're going out of the this interface to this particular IP address there. So basically same command, real simple. Do that on router 1 here. And to do that, we'll just go ahead and just to show you how that's looks. So we'll take, actually let's just do this here. Take this route out. And you can have multiple static routes. So like, you know, if you, I mean, basically I'm doing static routes, but typically in a production network, you may want to do, you know, routing protocols that actually update these dynamically in the event that, you know, an interface or something goes down. You don't want to have to come into the, your network and always change these out. I mean, you could add different metrics and things like that to add, you know, redundant routes in case one goes down, things like that. But you know, dynamic routes are pretty much the way to go here. So if I'm gonna go do that again here, so IP route. So what we're gonna do, we can keep that. Just go gigabit 0/0. And then 10.0.1.2. And if I do a show IP route, so now you see how this one differs from. And you know, you're probably wondering, well, what's the difference between just I mean, really it could be, you know, less lookups, you know, for, that's needed to get to here in the routing table. I mean, a lot of these could be personal preference depending on your network, how it's set up. I mean, I would say if you're going to go one way as far as routing goes statically on one side, probably makes it easier to kind of keep it that same way. So if you're going to do recursive routes on this one, then, you know, probably makes sense to do recursive routes on the other side of your network there. So again, that's it. That's basically the you know, the gist of adding static routes amongst your network. Makes it really easy to specify how to get to certain parts of your network pretty quick and easy. Again, I'll do a video on some different routing protocols such as OSPF and EIGRP that actually updates a lot of this stuff dynamically. Like, you know, for instance, if you were to have redundant connections or multiple routers you need to get to, you need to know how to get to those at all times without having to actually go in and manually do any of that. So again, you know, thanks for tuning in. You know, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or anything, leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you next time.